Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a little bit different video for you, and I've got a little bit of a different setup because I'm going to do some inking. So in one of my previous videos I used nesting dies, and I was trying to come up with some different ideas to use nesting dies. So these are my latest makes, and you can use anything in use. It's a stash busting thing really. Any nesting die that you've got, so squares, circles, stars, ovals, to make this kind of card, and any inks that you've got. I'm going to be using some Distress Distress Oxides on this occasion, but I haven't got many colours, but that doesn't matter. You only need two colours really on each card, a light and a dark if anything. So this is what I've made, and this one is with the circle nesting die. And it's any stamps that you've got as well, any silhouette stamps. So I've raided my stash, and I've got a bit of a collection of different ones here, oldies but goodies. These are they're all Crafters Companion stamps, Glittering Snowflakes, Celebrate the Season, and Enchanted Christmas. So those are what I've fished out of my my stash, and they're to make really quick cards, to be honest, and they come out beautifully. Once you start using this technique, which there's a lot of them on the internet, you will really enjoy making them. I have. I don't know about you, but when I make Christmas cards, I'm always a bit late, and I really prefer making them after I've sent them. So in December, when I've eventually got them off, I really like making Christmas cards then, because there's no pressure. But if you also want ones that where you can send them to neighbours now, or you haven't got made enough, then these are great. So that's my first one there. And this one is using the stars, which is really comes out pretty. And I've got another couple, but I'm going to show you them after I've done this first demonstration. So what do you need? Well, first of all, I've done all mine to be 6 by 6. So I've got a 6 by 6 white card blank, and then I've got a 5.5 by 5.5 piece of black card, and then a 5.25 piece of white card. And I've cut from copy paper, I have cut a mask from copy paper, the same size as this 5.25 piece. But I've done mine, I've used a square and I've done it on an angle. And the way I'm doing this is, whichever nesting dies you choose to use, you need to be able to have a frame around it. So pick one size, make sure it fits on your card front. It doesn't have to be 6 by 6, you can use a 5 by 7 if you want to. And then you want one where you can cut a frame. So I've used squares, but just to make it a little bit different, I've done it as though it's a diamond. So that's what I've got here, and this is my mask. So all I've got then is you can either use a spray glue, or you can use masking tape, but I'm just going to use my little dotty tape runner, and I'm just going to put a couple of little dots on here just to hold it down. So, and then you just want to match it up to your card base on the top there and stick that down. So all you're trying to do now, and you can make these into baubles as well. That's another thing that I've seen done on the internet, is they've drawn a line or put a little cap on the top to make it look like a bauble. I'm just going to do the shapes. So here's my first one. So I'm going to use Distress Oxide in Twisted Citron and Salty Ocean. So just get myself out a couple of sponges to go on the top of those. That should do us. And the trick with this, so two colours, it can be two blues, a light and a dark, as I've done with the others. For this one, I'm just going to change it up slightly. So I've got my Twisted Citron here. I'm going to come off my mat, and I'm just going to ink around the edge. And the key to it is to leave a white space in the middle, and definitely lighter. So it's the lightest colour first, pop that on, blend it in, and then I'm going to change that over. I've not tried this combo, so let's see how it goes with the blue. So I'm just going to, oh, it's a quite dark one, that one. I'm going to come and I want to make my edge darker. So let's just move that around a bit. Get that on there. It's quite a nice colour actually, that now. So give it a good blend in. And then once you've put your darkest colour on, I'm going to go back to my light colour again. Now this is one of those things that looks a real mess at first, but it turns out really cool. So there we go, that's the colours on. I'm going to get those out of the way. So next up then, I'm going to switch over to my stamping platform, which, excuse me for it being a bit messy. Oops. So let's have that there, and I'm going to pop this in. So on this one, I'm going to keep it nice and simple, and I'm going to do snowflakes. So I'm going to use one of these sentiments. I've got May joy and happiness snow on you. The world changes when it snows. That's quite true. But I'm going to do the May joy and happiness one because I quite like that. So let's get that at the ready. So I'm going to place that one in my lightest area. And get that one inked up. And I'm using Ranger Archival on this, but you can use whatever your favourite inks are. Let's give that a squish down. Just going to pop another layer on there. That should be okay. I haven't got anything on that little U there. Why that's there, there we go. Right, okay. So that's that one. And then all you need is something to make your design. So I'm going to use these snowflakes. I think what I'm going to do now is come off there. Now I've got that in position. And I'm going to stamp them myself. So you can pop your stamping platform aside for a minute. And have a little go at stamping yourself. So let's see what we've got. So I'm going to stamp one dark one, and then I'm going to do another one dark one here, I think, and then I'm going to secondary stamp that one there just to be a bit lighter, and I'm going to do another dark one over here, and then maybe secondary stamp that one there. So that's what we've got so far on that one. I'm then going to take a smaller one, bring that one in. Do I want that one quite so dark? Maybe not. Let's pop that one there. This one on. I'm going to have a darker one here. And then I'll stamp that one off and have that one just coming up there. Okay. And then finally I've got this little tiny one. So I'm going to fill in some darker spaces with this one. And then pop that one in there. Oops. Him over that one. And a lighter one there. And let's see what else we've got here. I think that should do us. We're all the way around. Now, if you've got any, like I said, whoops, and missed slightly, which is this tiny one down here, you can just use your fine liner to fill that in. And that looks fine then. Now that doesn't look great at the moment, it looks quite messy and it looks very bright on the screen, which actually in real life it's not. But keeping your hands clean now, give them a little wipe to one side. You can then take this off, take your mask off, and you get a perfect diamond here, which I really like that. Now if you've got any little bits of your tape runner still left on there, give it a little rub with a rubber and you can remove all that, no problem. Give that a wipe off. So that's where we are with that one, and that looks perfect, and you can leave it like that if you want. But what I did was I used my larger die on top of this one to create a frame. So all I'm going to do here is pull this one out, and it's in silver glitter card, which I like, and I like having the frame on there. So I'm going to add mine on. So let's get that. I can see some glue there, which I haven't rubbed off. There we go. So I'm going to pop that on. Add some glue around the frame. Make sure that's got some on all sides. And I'm going to add that to my card. And of course that will fit perfectly over there because you have made the frame. So let's just get that into position. Give that a good squash down. While I do squash that down, I'm now going to layer that onto my black card and then onto my white card. So I'll come back and stick that together. So that's it layered up now with a black and white border and this lovely silver frame around it. And just to finish off, I have got some little gems here. Now you can either put them in the corners, 4 in the corner, or you can do them randomly like I am. I'm doing 3 just randomly on opposite sides here and above, like so. And that's that one. Should have really done those with the green ones, shouldn't I? But there we go. So that's our first one. And I have also made, I'll just show you some other examples. Oh, this one off there. So I showed you these 2 before. That was the star and the circle. And I've also got a bauble and this pentagon. And I've also popped glitter on those, so I'll go back and I'll add some glitter onto the ones that I do today. So I'm going to do one more and show you what that one looks like. So I'll just be back in a second. Okay, so for this next one I've decided to use an oval. So here is my oval mat. Now you can either, I've got mine kind of lower down there, you can either have it low down or you can have it at the top. I think I'm going to have it that way actually. So there is my mat. I have now got some yellows that I'm going to use in this one. So I've got fossilized amber and squeezed lemon. So let's see how we go with that one. Let me just find a yellow sponge in here. There we go. Not very yellowy, but there we go. Right, so I'm going to start with my lightest one again, and get that moving around on there. And I'm just using whatever I've got because, like I say, I haven't got all the colours. I'm just using the ones I've got to make these bauble designs. You don't need to go out and buy new supplies. It's a case of raiding your stash, and I bet you've got stuff in there. So, and using the nesting dies as well. You've got all sorts of shapes that these will look great in. So you might have some really random shapes as well that would work well. So now's the time to dig them out. And like I say, you could use a 5x7 card as well. That would work great, especially if you've got longer shaped dies. So let's get this darker colour on. This one's the fossilized amber. And And if you haven't got masking paper like I haven't got, then this works great. So there we are with that one. Let's just give that one last whiz round with the squeezed lemon, just to make that middle a bit lighter. And blend that in. Okay, so there we go. Let's move that out of the way for the time being. So I'll bring back in the stamping platform. Now on this one, I managed to find that I'd got these little stamps. These are the nativity scene. So I'm going to have a go at placing these somehow on here. So let's get them out and see what we've got. We've got our wise men, or three kings really, actually, isn't it? Or kings come in there. And I have got some palm trees here that I can do over the side as well. Let's just place those on. I think I might have those in the background. So what I'll do is I won't do those yet. I'll hang fire with that. Let's just see how this is going to go. I've got "Oh come let us adore him" for there, and I've got "Peace on Earth." I'm going to use the two, like so. Okay, so let's get those ones stamped first. Sorry to be so close to the camera there. Right, let's try this out. Yep, happy with there. I think I'm a bit low with my stable, but we shall see. Let's give that another layer. I really do need to get one of those like a weight thing that helps you to stamp better. That's great. I'm going to go with that. Okay. Let's wipe these off now. I can set those aside. Just put them up there for now. Okay, now I've got my three kings that I want to come in, haven't I? So I did want a little bit of light behind them, but let's pop these on first, because it will look better, honestly. So let's pop them in. These are going to be super sticky now, I can feel it. So these are coming over a sand dune, I'm pretty sure. There. Okay. Pick those up. Get that in position. Pick those three up. Let me come up a little bit and then maybe it won't catch. Nope. There we go. Right. Pop our wise men on there. It's so much harder to do this with a camera in front of you than it is to place everything when you're just doing it at home yourself. Let's see, are we done? Yes, that's looking good. Let's get those three wise men off there. Now, because I've got a little bit of he's a bit up in the air there. I'm going to give my look of sand dunes by adding some darker, a little bit darker there. That will make it look like he's coming along the edge there. Just going to buff that in a bit. Just like that, just to make a darker bit. Just so that it grounds those little wise men there coming along. Okay, what else have I got to do now? I'm going to add in my extra palm trees. So let's move this out of the way, because that is really hard to do with it in the way. We'll bring this back down. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get those quite light. I'm going to have some in the background here. Where are we? Let's go here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to give myself a dark one coming in here, and then I'm going to double stamp over that one around about here, I think, so that it looks like it's in the background there. I think that looks quite good. And again here, I think. That's it. And finally in the background here. Okay, so we've got all those in. Let's see what they look like now. So I'll peel this off and see if we've got a nice neat edge now. Yes, we have. That looks great to me. Okay, we'll get our rubber. And of course, you'll have more time to compose your scene better than I have here. But at least this gives you the idea of what it looks like. So I have again got another frame I'm going to pop around the outside, so I'll come back to you when I've stuck this together. Okay, so there I am back with it finished off. I've added a little bit of glitter to the palm trees in the background, and I swapped my gemstones on this one for the green so that these would go with the yellow. So I think they look really pretty. So do let me know what you think, and if you like these stamping style videos. I will get better with time on these, I think. It does take a little bit to do inking and stamping and get it all right and swap between things on a video, so bear with me on that. I'll do my best, but try to bring these ideas to life. So these are the other ones for you to have a little look at as well. So they really do come out lovely, don't they? They're really pretty cards. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. I'll try and come up a little bit more. Do let me know what you think, and it's another way to use your nesting dies and anything that you've got in your stash as well. So thanks very much for watching. Tell me which one you think is the nicest one. I like this star, to be honest, and this one's pretty, and then once you start, you like them all. But you could vary up the colours. I mean, this would look great in all of those colours, you know, if you only had one set of dies or just the circle. And of course you can make a square look different as well by just rotating it slightly. So I hope you've enjoyed that video, and do subscribe, give me a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.